Mhm.
and I don't even know these folks. I've just walked by them, but I caught something in their energy field and it got my attention. I do that stuff occasionally. And like I said, I think that's an artifact of my contact. I don't know if it's why I was contacted or if it's because of the contact, but I'm not alone. And it's another weird thing is I can say this. There are millions of people out there like me. And you know why I know that? Because I feel them.
Mhm.
I feel them and it gets stronger every day. So I know more and more and more of them are waking up because I can feel them. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I realize how crazy that sounds, but I can't deny it. It is what it is. And maybe I am crazy. I don't know who's to say what is crazy and what's not. I don't know.
I don't think you're crazy. I think that there is sort of and this is going to sound crazy. I think there is sort of a little bit of an upgrade happening with the human species. I think, more and more kids are being born every single day. And it kind of seems like they're a little bit more aware. And I'm sure the internet plays a lot to do with this, right? Because the information is just
Yeah.
flooded into our purview at a constant rate today. This is way different than it was, back in the 70s and 80s and the 90s when I was born and growing up and coming of age. They're just if you wanted vast amounts of information, you had to go to the library and read all day. And that's different now. Now you've got something in your pocket that's got all the libraries and every bit of knowledge that everybody's ever known ever, and you
Mhm.
could mainline that all day long.
Yeah, that's fact.
And so but I do think there is something like I have friends that have an uncanny ability to read people in situations that I don't have, and they're right. And sometimes they'll say something about somebody, and they're just picking up little things that most people, I think, don't pick up, and there's something to that, whether it's high level pattern recognition, whether there's some sort of innate sense in us that's kind of laid dormant all these years and is now kind of coming back around.
Mhm.
That's real. That's 100% real. And or you could follow Rupert Sheldrake's work on morphic resonance, where there's some sort of a field affecting information over vast distances amongst people that don't have any contact with each other. And they come up with the same things at the same time. So I think there is another layer there that you're probably tapping into. You're not the only experiencer I've spoken to, by the way, that talks about that. There's others that after their experience, they feel like their intuition has grown, that they can sense things. Sometimes they even see things like auras after their experiences. They have this other sense that kind of gets heightened. So I'm of the opinion that these things are sort of latent in human beings, and because we grew up in the West, they were taught to kind of ignore that. That's a dream. That's a nightmare. That's you're not seeing anything. But it may actually be a thing that we kind of just forget how to use. And some people remember and they're like, oh, this has always been there.
Mhm.
I just haven't leaned into it. I want to talk just a little bit more about disclosure because we're having these conversations are now being had on Fox News. Since that documentary came out, you have Colonel Carl Nell on Fox News, you have David Grush on Fox News, Jay Stratton. They're all over the news now. It seems to me like there's a big push by these individuals that were in this documentary to try and put pressure on the executive branch to say something. Now, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but it seems like they're putting pressure, and there may be some sort of plan in place for that to happen within the next few years of this particular presidency. If that happens, let's just say, we're playing the speculation game. If the president comes out and says something, how do you think that would change society in, let's say, like, year 1 and 2? Do you think there's drastic changes, or do you think people just go back to taking the kids to soccer practice and they forget about it?
I think that it might be a drastic change for for some people, but not probably for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And a lot of people may look at it, if there's some kind of an announcement from this administration about something like this, some people might look at it as more of a distraction than factual announcements.